Today I want to show you how I make my webinar slides for my sales webinars and sales presentations. I think you're going to like it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And if you're brand new here, thanks for watching today. Let's jump in. When it comes to creating webinar slides, it can be one of the most daunting and just overwhelming things for me because oftentimes webinars have a lot of slides and there's a lot of information that needs to go into them. So I want the easiest way, the quickest way to really create webinars from scratch. And so I'm just gonna show you how I've done it over the past few years, putting on a ton of different sales webinars. And I just wanna give you a couple quick tips that you can also implement. So I love Google Slides, and there's a number of different softwares. You've heard of PowerPoint, you've heard of Keynote, and all those are great. I just like using Google Slides. It's really, really easy to use. It's pretty versatile, and everything lives in the cloud. Most people have a Gmail or Google Drive account, and everything just automatically saves there. I found it to be pretty reliable in using it over the past 3 years, and I've gotten really comfortable with it. So I really like it. What you're looking at right now is you're looking at one of my webinars that I use to sell one of my online courses. Over here on the left, there is a lot of slides in this webinar. You see there's about 128 slides. And so when you're creating a webinar from scratch, there's a couple different things that you need to do. First, just go over to slides.google.com and you can create the blank slide presentation right now, but you can also look in their template gallery and there will be tons of templates available that you can use. So if you want to use one of their pre-made templates, that's a great way to get started, but you can also just start from scratch. Over on the right side, you'll see some different themes, which will just give you some color and a little bit of life to your presentation. If you want to go that direction, you can do that as well. What I've done in my slide presentation is I've actually added my own background and I added my logo down here in the bottom left over in like Canva or Photoshop. I did that myself, but I actually just got this background from unsplash.com. You can go over to a website like this. There are many others, but you can just search background on here, or you can search a specific, type of image that you might want, and you might be able to find a little more custom background that might fit your branding a little bit more than maybe just the built-in Google Slides. But you can find a background and then you can actually load that into your presentation. If we just right-click on the slide, we can actually hit change background, and then we can just upload the image from our computer, and that will add the background to that slide, and we can just apply that to all slides. A couple quick notes on using Google Slides. You'll see a bunch of different options up here at the top, which are pretty self-explanatory, but you'll see things like a text box, so you can add text. And once you do add a text box, you're gonna have a bunch of different options for the text, like the font and the sizing. This is all stuff that's pretty standard on any type of text editor, so most people will be able to navigate that. You'll see inserting an image or creating a shape. This is something I use a lot with the shapes. If I wanna create an arrow or just any kind of shape, you can do that right here, which is really cool. We also have a line tool. We can change the background, we can change the layout, the theme. There's all kinds of good stuff up here in this main toolbar. And then there are also additional options up here at the top when it comes to formatting, slide, tools, or different things that are a little more advanced that you might want to get into later on. My first big tip for you in creating your webinar slides is to create Over the last 3 years, I've generated millions of dollars in sales through an online course, just sharing the knowledge I already have in my head with others on the internet. And if you want to learn how to launch an online course for yourself, I want to give you my free ebook and audiobook called How to Become a Digital Dad. And this will give you my exact strategy for building and launching a profitable online course business. You can get it completely free at careyegler.com/book. Back to the video. My first big tip for you in creating your webinar slides is to create a couple slides that you like the look of and then simply duplicate those slides. This is the best way that I found to make my webinars quickly. And basically when I create a brand new webinar, I go back to this webinar and I start with this as a template. I have a title slide. I have this slide that has a few bullet points. And so I'll basically right click and duplicate these slides, or I will just copy them and paste them into a new slide presentation. You see this one right here where I have kind of a big bold title at the top and then a few bullet points. I use that one a ton. And so I have a few slides that are kind of the different types of information I might want to share in my presentation. And I simply just continue to duplicate those. And then I just change that text. This makes it a lot quicker than just creating every slide from scratch. And so I'm a big fan of just duplicating as much as possible and editing from there. That makes it a lot easier. You can even hold down Shift on your keyboard and select a number of slides. So like we've got 5, 10 slides selected, and then we can right click and we can duplicate all of those slides, or we can just copy and paste, but we can duplicate all of those slides, and that just makes it really, really easy. The next tip I want to give you is about animation. Now you can animate pretty much anything in your slide presentation, and that will add some additional life and personality to your webinar. And so it's something I would recommend doing. And I want to show you what that looks like real quick. If we hit slideshow, you can see it's going to go full screen. This is actually how you would present your webinar. But if I just click my arrow button on my keyboard, you'll see these bullet points actually animate in. Now, if I was presenting this slide right here, I could actually animate those in as I'm talking about them. Now, this is a very basic animation. It's just a simple fade, but let me actually show you how this works. We can select any element in our presentation, and we can just right click on that element and then click animate. If you click on that, it's gonna bring this up over here on the right. Now, I've already got an animation for this element, so that's gonna be the second one right here. And what you'll see is there's a lot of different types of animation that you can do. Appear, disappear, you see all these right here. If I were to select maybe fly in from right, I can show you what that looks like right here. There you go, it flew in from the right, right? So there's all these different types of animation, and it's just really, really easy to create animations. It just makes it super simple. It just adds that life to your presentation. You can also select how fast you want the animation to happen right here. And so they get a little bit wild. Like if we do like spin, you'll see what that looks like. Boom, it spins. That's kind of wild, right? So this is how you can add animations into your presentation. The last cool tip I want to give you is just adding GIFs into your presentation. This is another way to just make it more lively, right? And so it's pretty simple to actually add these little animated photos, these GIFs, into your presentation. You can see this is an example right here on my screen. I've just added this guy, from Star Trek kind of face palming. And so it's really simple to do this. If you go out to Giphy.com, you can search for any GIF that you want. Maybe we'll put in stunned, right? And it's gonna pull up tons of GIFs, right? And so if I wanted to put one of these into my presentation, I could click on it, I could right click, and I can actually save this image onto my computer. And then inside of a slide presentation, I could simply drag that GIF into my presentation, and there it is right there. That's pretty cool, right? And then if I want to even go a step further using the last tip, I can animate this, right? And maybe we could just make it appear on click, boom. I can hit my keyboard and there it just appears in my slide. So again, this is a great way to just add some additional life and fun to your presentation. As I've shown throughout this video, once you're done with your presentation, you're actually ready to present on some kind of webinar, we'll just hit this slideshow button up here at the top right, and that will make it full screen. And this works really seamlessly with most any software. I've used a ton of different softwares over the years, and I've used Google Slides while using those webinar softwares. Like Zoom is really easy. You just hit that share content button, and this makes it full screen, right? And we just simply use our keyboard, the left and right arrows, to thumb back and forth as we present our webinar. And so that's it. If you found this video helpful today, please take 1 second and hit the like button. That's an easy way you can return the favor back to me for creating this content. And I also want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We're a brand new channel here, and we need all the subs we can get because we want to get this information out to the most amount of digital dads possible. So hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos release. See you next week.